Boom. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. So, hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. It's Terry, Coach Terry Bryant. I'm going to take my glasses off. Coach Terry Bryant with Hits and Heels, another episode of Hits and Heels. We are at season 3, episode 6 of our Hits and Heels. We are, I think, 9 months into this thing. And today I'm so excited that we have a special guest. So let me tell y'all about Coach April Bernard. So I met her when my daughter was coaching high school here in Lexington at Bryan Station. She was living here temporarily at that time. And so she was coaching my daughter in track. And then that's how I met her, right? And so we have just kept in touch over the years. But now it's track season. I'm back to coaching track now at Crawford Middle School where I started. And we are also off the win of LSU's girls basketball team of winning a national championship. So I just thought it would be a great idea to bring on Coach April Sams, who also attended LSU as a track star. And this is the thing that everybody needs to understand tonight if you don't learn nothing else. LSU women's track program is the winningest program in the nation. Coach, is you on? She's not going to show up.
I'm here. I'm here. How are you?
Good. It is a pleasure having you on. Thank you for coming on last minute because I sure just called you less than an hour ago and we put this together, right? So, Coach, please tell us how many championships has the LSU women's program won?
Oh man, I don't even know how many championships if you count indoor and outdoor. I think it's over 20.
That's crazy.
I think it's over 20.
Right. That's crazy, right? But nobody talks about it.
Nobody talks about it. Of course not.
Why don't anyone talk about it? Why do you think anyone talk about it? Let's take a while.
Well, number one, because we're women. And number two, I think because we're not a big money-making sport.
Right.
And so people that when they think of track and field, they only think of Olympics. They don't think of, college and AAU and people starting to run track at 5 years old.
Right.
So I think that's why. I saw something earlier today where Shaq said that Angel Reach, who's, my girl, give it up for them, was the best athlete to come out of LSU, male or female.
I don't think that's true.
And I absolutely don't think that's true. Yeah. I love Angel Reese
because you guys are Olympians.
Absolutely. Gold medal Olympians. Not just Olympians, but gold medalists. Gold medalists. And Olympians, they're not just competing against other college athletes. They're competing against the entire world.
Yes, ma'am.
The entire world. So, for him to make that statement, it was pretty bold. And I think, Shaq is Shaq and he's going to say what he wants to say, but I don't think he believes that himself.
And he probably needed to be reminded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think some people are reminding him right now.
And he probably needed to be reminded himself. And, and I'm sure somebody got in his ear about that and be like, Shaq, you talked too soon on that one, bruh. Because, I know Coach Didi had liked the post. I hope she would get on. Hope she gets on because Coach Didi, if you listening and you come and catch the replay or something, you next, right? Because you're an actual Olympian.
Yes, I hope she gets on. I hope she gets on because she is an Olympian.
Yes,
and she coached at the collegiate level, so
and
she has a lot.
The SEC, right?
Absolutely, so in the SEC. Yes. Absolutely, right. Absolutely.
So I am praying, Coach Didi. I hope we book you soon, real soon. Also. On the podcast so that we can talk about it because you can talk about some things, right? So why? So my co-host Danny is on. Danny, so as you can see, I just got Coach April on here.
Yes, I appreciate it, and I just, I had to hop on real quick. I'm probably gonna have to hop off
No
because
worries.
we are getting ready for our track and field championship. So
Nice,
I'm
nice.
excited. I'm here. Y'all meet. This is my intern Cass. She can't hear, but and then I have our assistant. This is Deja.
Hey, Deja.
So we're actually at the hotel in our mobile office space for the week, getting ready. But of course, I'm stationary, so I had to hop on and say hello to everybody. Say hello to April.
Hello, hello, hello.
April's a
And
beast. Wait
oh
till I tell y'all more April's business. Y'all gonna be like, what?
yes, so I'm gonna be watching and commenting because we're gonna have people in and out. I gotta order dinner for everybody, so I don't want to be a distraction, but I wanted
No
to hop
worries.
on and say hello, and y'all can find me in the comment section tonight. But
Okay.
yes, I love y'all. I'm so excited to hear everything that April has going on, and I just can't wait. I already know there's gonna be a part 2 to this one, so
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
excited already. But I'm gonna get off this camera because I look
That's why she wouldn't get on camera. She's like,
I
you
look
ain't tell me
I
you
look
ain't
bu-
put me on
Yeah,
I
you
camera.
look
see, I couldn't get on camera. No.
I look busty and dusty tonight. We just got off the road.
All
But
right, sis.
I love y'all, and I will be in the comments.
Sounds
All
good.
right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so Coach April, let me tell you what I love about you is the role model that you have become because you are a mom, a gym owner, an entrepreneur, and a wife to a celebrity. Break it all down to us, sis.
Well, first of all, I was a celebrity first. Just saying.
Absolutely. Yes. Facts. Big facts. You were
um,
a celebrity first. Yes, ma'am.
and actually, Coach Didi, who I'm hoping will come on, she actually persuaded me to contact my husband before he was my husband. So
What?
there's a lot of background there with
Oh
her.
yeah, we gotta hear the
So.
story. We gotta hear that story. Yes.
Well, okay, so we were at Essence Fest, and he had um he had inboxed me that he saw that I was there, and he inboxed me and said he had 2 tickets to the show for that night. And so I was with Dee Dee and some other friends, and so I told him, I was like, thank you, but I have 4 other people with me, so if I can't just get 2 tickets, I said, but I appreciate it. And so, I told them what happened, and Dee Dee was like, "Girl, what is your problem? You better take those tickets." And I was like, "But how are we going to choose who gets to go?" She's like, "It doesn't matter. That's not why he's offering you the tickets." I was like, "No way." So I replied back and I said, "You know what? I'll take the tickets." So I took the tickets. We had a good time. I went, with my cousin actually, and then the next day he called and asked how the show was, and then from then on we continued to talk, and the rest is history, I guess. So yes, Miss Dee Dee has a hand in this one.
Okay, so how did Dee Dee come to the conclusion that you should inbox him?
No,
How did
he
that come
inboxed
about?
me.
Oh,
No,
he
no, he
inboxed you
inboxed me
first?
first. Yes. I mean, we had been friends. We had been
Right.
friends for a while.
Okay.
Well, for a long time. But I never really met him in person. He knew my
Got it.
brothers. He used to hang out
Oh,
with my
okay.
brothers in college, so he knew my brothers. And so like we, comment on each other's page and inbox every now and then. I asked him to come to my school and perform a couple of
Of
times,
course.
and he couldn't come. But I didn't hold it against him because he wasn't charging me. He was like, I'll see what I can do or whatever. So he
Right.
he didn't come, and so that was his way of saying, he's gonna make it up to me. So he said, he offered me those tickets to make it up to me for not coming to my school. twice, 2 years in a row, actually. And so, we were familiar with each other, of course. And so when he inboxed me about the tickets, and I was like, I appreciate it, but no thanks. And then Dee Dee was like, "Girl, you better get those tickets." And so, the rest is history. So
Okay,
I owe it to her.
for the audience, we didn't mention no names. Okay, so
No,
can
we
you
didn't.
tell us who your husband is, please, for the audience
My
sake, so
husband,
y'all can kind of piece all this together.
my husband is Bryson Bernard.
And he is famous for.
Everybody else calls him Cupid. He created the Cupid Shuffle, and now the new craze, the flex dance and the cookout, and this new song Slow Dance with Mr. Talkbox. So he's a musician. His stage name is Cupid, but I call him
Okay,
Bryce.
now we as Black people ain't never been to a party, ain't cookout, birthday party, nothing, and ain't did the Cupid Shuffle in the last however many years. So that's
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
that's who her husband is. For those of y'all that are totally lost about what we're talking about and why we're left, so that's why I was like, okay, let's go ahead and get that elephant out of the way, right? So okay, so Coach also is a gym owner. She's a personal trainer. Matter of fact, she's my daughter's personal trainer virtually.
I
So
am. I
um,
am. I fuss
so
at her often.
so I'm gonna tell you what she told me. She said, can you check Coach April because she has been trying to kill me. I
Did she say check me?
said, yes, she wants me to check you
Tell
about
her you and I on the same page.
right.
We're on the same page.
We're on the same
We
page.
have her best interest at heart.
Her total best interest. So, baby girl,
Exactly.
if you want to be fine as wine when you in your 50s,
Thank you.
look who's there. Look at this. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here. Look at here.
Oh, I see the name.
Look at here. Look at here.
Good evening, ladies.
Hi, Coach Dee Dee. We were just talking about you.
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, so audience. So
Mhm.
listen. So we got an Olympian just logged in. I call her Coach Dee Dee. Coach Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me tell y'all the backstory about Coach DeAndre Hill Montgomery. So Coach Dee Dee was dating one of my friends, and at that time, she was the head track coach at Vanderbilt University. And so the first time I got to meet her, she was had a track meet here at Kentucky, and it was an indoor track meet, and I got the chance to go over there and meet her, and so we're so excited about that. So look at all the celebrities we got on here, and she is an Olympian. Oh my God!
Yes.
Give us the story.
Yes.
Give us your story, Coach.
Uh, probably like most track and field girls coming up. And I'm old, so like in the late 80s, early 90s, looking for a school. I was actually committing to the University of Tennessee and got a letter from LSU, knew nothing about them. And actually my brother knew more because Shaquille was there, as we speak of Shaquille,
Mm-hmm.
and said, man, you got to go on a visit. You got to go see this place. And so I went and fell in love with the place immediately, and decided that's where I wanted to go. And one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Those are days and moments and teammates that I cherish, and we still have today.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because April and I did not run at the same time. April is
Right.
younger than me.
Okay.
And so we met through other coincidences. And
But you were still there training when I was competing. Yeah.
yeah, I was still there training. And so, and Tigers, we all know each other. If we don't know each
Yeah.
other, we all know each other.
It's a community.
Oh yeah.
It's like a fraternity or a sorority, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Absolutely.
yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
We're family.
Yes.
We're all family. We'll ride for each other, and we've never met you
Absolutely.
before. So yeah, so that is and ended up at LSU. We had some rough patches, had definitely had some rough patches, but came out on the other end with a blessing of a career and the opportunities and being able to travel and meet people. So I have no bad feelings about my time at LSU. They owe me nothing, as I tell people all the time.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. One of the
Yes.
things that we talked about, uh, Coach, was the fact that people don't know that LSU's women's track program is the winningest program in the nation of any
Yeah,
sport.
yeah, yeah. We have we calculated it up due to the women's program that we've won. LSU has 50 national championships on its board across all sports, and track and field between the men and the women total 31 of those 50 national championships.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't know the
11,
number, so now I know.
What about just
11,
the women's though? But the women's even out
11, yeah,
uh,
11 consecutive national champions. I'm going to say they've got,
consecutive.
yeah, consecutive. So, and I think they have like four after that outdoors and I think a couple indoors.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
definitely one of the top programs. When we won number 10, that passed North Carolina soccer
Hmm.
for the consecutive number of national championships, NCAA wise.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Out freaking standing. Because if I'm an athlete, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
If I'm an athlete and I'm a football player, where the heck I want to go?
Oh, you want to be in Death Valley on Saturday nights.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
You want to be in Death Valley on Saturday night.
Exactly. But everyone is looking to play at LSU or Alabama or what, because it's the
Hmm.
winningest program.
Hmm.
But if I'm wanting to run track, whoa, who would want to be a part of that community right there? I mean,
Right.
because it's not just what's going on right now, but it's people like you all that come in that still feed the program and that give the advice, that help out, that you're the big sisters now,
Hmm.
to be able
Right.
to help in that program. Now you all both have young children that are up and coming.
Hers
um
younger than
Yes.
mine.
right.
I'm
Hey.
almost done. I'm like counting. Like I'm almost done. Hers is younger than mine.
She's in middle school. She's middle
Mhm.
school.
She in middle school. That's
She's in
right.
middle school.
She's in middle
Okay,
school.
she's in middle school. But I just saw her running, and she's
Mhm.
killing it. I saw her walk somebody
Oh,
down a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago. I said, "Sis,"
Yeah.
right?
She's yeah.
She walked her
She
down. I'm just
it
saying.
because I have
So
two daughters, and so one is old. She's 25,
she graduated
and
from
yep,
LSU.
she graduated from LSU, and she had no interest in running. Much to my dismay, she had
She
no
played
interest in
volleyball.
running. She played volleyball. And then and so Nyla came along and um took to it really fast. Like and she's done a lot of different things. She's played volleyball just like
I love her
April's
basketball
kids. We
game.
do different things. We're not just track
yeah.
athletes. We're different. We want them to be diverse. We want them to be able to do other things. And so
Absolutely.
that's part of the joy of watching our kids grow up. They may run track, but they may do other things and they'll be successful in whatever they decide to do.
Yes.
I absolutely love watching my daughter run track. I'm not even gonna lie, but she also
Yeah.
played basketball and played volleyball and excelled in those. And you're right. I love the diversity. And plus, I think that even now with the recruiting process, now college coaches love the diverse athlete
Mhm.
because they bring a little bit more. Again, I think they're more coachable. And then I think there's a level of burnout. Do you
Yes.
guys think that when you're specialized, or do you guys feel like you should specialize? I don't think so. But what do you guys think? I like the diversity.
I like the diversity. I think when they're younger, it's great to, try out everything and see
Yes,
what you like and see what you're the best at. Once you get up into high school, if you are trying to go to college for, to play sports, you have to specialize. You
absolutely.
have to, because there's no way you can focus all of your attention on three different sports. and a lot of times, like track is year round. There's no off season. So if you're going to run track, how are you going to play basketball?
Because
Because they
basketball is
run
year round.
together. Yeah, and they run together. So once you get into high school, the upper grades in high school, maybe like sophomore year, you want to know what you plan to do. And track is the foundation to every sport. So you'll hear coaches say, do you run track? Do you
Yes.
run track? If you're not playing football, you should be running track because it is the foundation.
Well, I coach
So
football, and that's what I told my players.
absolutely. What do you think, Dee?
Definitely. It's one of those things that carries over. I feel like in the last, I don't know, 10 or 15 years, we've really done a disservice to kids by specializing them
So
so
early.
early on in age.
So early.
The
Right.
one thing, and with April being a trainer, understands the development muscle groupings, fast, slow twitch. And it's one of those things that is developed not just in one sport. And so that is the the benefit of them being able to do different things using different muscle groups in their bodies. It makes them stronger. And
Yes.
so it's a shame that we've made it a specialization for kids so early. I really do think it's doing a disservice to kids. But in that state, just like she said, once you get to high school, there's just no way around it. We're old enough to remember we played 3 sports when every season we had something to do when we were in high school, and that's just not the case now, which
Hmm.
is fine, and that's because the kids are gotten a lot stronger and they're faster. I mean, we sit around and talk all the time about the times and how much they've dropped since we were even in school.
Hmm.
So there's a definite benefit to it, and that's pretty much where youth sports is going right now.
Oh, I agree. And I'm seeing more injuries though because of the specialization,
Yes, yeah,
especially like in baseball.
Absolutely.
You know,
yes.
there was a couple of players that I saw, that even here locally, they had committed to play football, and I was like, "Why are y'all playing basketball? Why would you risk the injury when you know that you're going to the next level for a different sport? Like if you weren't going for that sport, it kind of made sense, but because like our son just played football, but he was also committed. But okay, play that made sense, but it didn't make sense for those ones to after football season to jump right into basketball season when because I played basketball and tore both ACLs.
Mm.
Twisting an ankle. I felt like there was more injuries in basketball than it was in football, and football is a collision sport. And so that was one of the things that I thought. So Coach April, as a trainer, do you recommend anything that parents maybe should be looking at or doing that they might not know that they should be doing or recommending for their children at the younger age?
Well, the thing is that when you jump sport to sport, every sport is different. And just like, just as Didi just said, you're using different muscle groups for different sports. So if you're not trained for one sport and you're coming from, say, like, a football player, you finish the season in December and then you jump to basketball, you're not trained for basketball. So
Right.
you're more prone to injury because you haven't, worked those muscle groups that you need in basketball. So that's why off-season training is important. So that's why it's hard to go from one sport to the next because you missed the whole off-season of basketball because you're playing football. So
Right.
you're not in that type of shape. You're not in basketball shape. You're not in the next sport shape. And so the biggest thing is it's great to be well-rounded and well diverse, but you have to constantly work all muscle groups even when you're playing football, and I know, the trainers in different schools, they're better at that, but, and they know if they're a multiple sport player, then they're not just training for football. They're actually working those muscle groups for their next sport as well, but focusing on football because that's the sport right now, if you
Oh,
will.
absolutely. I think I remember when Ty was going into from middle school to high school. Of course, all the way up to middle school, he played the 3 sports. But then once we got to high school, he had to give up basketball because after he needed that time in between basketball season and baseball season to train. Because when he tried to
Right.
go from football to basketball to baseball, his timing was so off. It took so long for him to get his timing down because the muscles were just so different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so my husband made him give up basketball just for that, because at that time, of course, he started varsity as a eighth grader for baseball, and then he ended up starting football as a freshman, which is unheard of anywhere in
Mm-hmm.
any state. And so, but he had to choose.
Right.
But I think so I was really concerned about those kids that are still doing the three sports when you're trying to go, because of course I'm pushing. At first I was pushing baseball because I felt like it was safer, more, longevity on your body, less wear and tear on your body. But
Yes.
we didn't get the baseball offers, and then I didn't learn about that baseball didn't get full rides. Does track get full rides?
Yes.
Really?
You said really? I
I
mean,
mean,
I
I'm
have a
just
full
being,
ride.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Right.
I'm just joking.
And
And I
I
would like,
mean, I've been out of the game for a long time, so I'm not sure if it's changed now.
right.
Dee Dee, you were a collegiate coach, so you can,
Yeah.
more insight on that.
there's a limited number of scholarships that you have to fill, and you're looking to fill, was it 30 to 40 kids on, I think at one point it was 16 scholarships, maybe 18 for girls.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
the numbers just aren't there. It's hard to do that. But there's also, you know, there's ways around it. There's academic money that's available, and so it
Right.
can comes up. There's ways around it. But I'd like to also make one other point about the transition from one sport to other sport. There's got to be something to be said for actually just rest.
Yes.
Yes.
And coming from football and not having basketball to be able to go to baseball, you give your body a time to kind of come down and recoup and rest a little bit before you start hitting it again. And I
Yes.
think that parents sometimes lose that, like it's got to be full on all the time, 100% on. And just like they need rest, kids need rest. Their bodies need
Mm-hmm.
rest and time to regroup and regenerate. So there's definitely something to be said for taking, you know, coaches like to say, well, you give you a month off and then we'll get right back into it. Well, what's the rush? If you know what I'm saying, if their body needs it, time off is probably some of the best medicine for them.
Absolutely. You're totally right about that. You're so right about that.
I'm so glad that y'all have brought that up, because I think we teach our kids about grinding, and I get it, but I still love um that aspect of it, of preserving their body. When I'm seeing kids, like, of course we did baseball, we didn't, I missed track because Jalen did track, but I missed, in baseball I'm seeing lots of kids Ty's age having the Tommy John surgery because they're doing fall ball, and then they're coming out of fall ball, and then they're going right into the high school baseball, and then out of baseball then they're doing a summer ball all summer. And again, it's just like track is all year round, baseball is all year round. I think football may be the only one that's halfway not all year round. But then you got spring ball, and they're kind of off during the summertime. Um,
But they still have 7-on-7,
but they
and
still
they
have
still have
7-on-7
other,
and
yeah. Oh, yeah.
other ways to get it in, or they're weightlifting. I think they
Mm-hmm.
do more of the weightlifting. So even when Ty was doing baseball, he had to tell the trainer, look, he does baseball, so he's throwing. So we don't want any anything over his head or anything like that, to preserve his shoulder and his rotator cuff and that type of stuff. And I think a lot of people really just take the rest part for granted. Oh my God, I'm so glad I made this phone call tonight. This information that you guys have brought to the table is absolutely fantastic. So how, when you get to the point when your kids specialize, you guys are a long way off. April, you're a long way off.
I'm a long way off, yes.
But Naj, she's middle school. What's she? Eighth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade,
Nyla is in the sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
Mhm.
Gosh, she's so freaking tall. She's gonna be a beast. Y'all, when I tell you this child's gonna be a beast, she's a beast now. Um, it's gonna be tough because she's good in basketball. I saw her ball.
I mean, she
Basketball, track,
she played volleyball. Like I said, her older sister played
play
volleyball, so she was
volleyball.
familiar. She picked up basketball this year, which was a shock, like because that she never showed any interest for basketball. And the coaches were like all excited. I said, hey, hey, hey,
She's a natural, just a
oh,
natural athlete, though.
we need to temper expectations. She's never played before, and she really took to it. And like I said, last year she ran track for the first time. So, um, and this summer, it's up in the air on exactly what she wants to do. Her basketball coach was like, I'd really love for her to get into a camp and get shooting. Of course, I would love for her to run summer track.
Right.
Volleyball is an option, but she hasn't really talked too much about it. So it's just
Volleyball
her.
all year.
Yeah, and all honesty,
Basketballs all year.
everything is all year.
Yes.
To be completely honest,
Yeah.
if you look at, we have kids in the sixth grade here in Texas where they've been playing volleyball since August. They've played school volleyball, they've played club
Club
volleyball,
volleyball.
and so it's year round. Basketball is year round. So you really have to make the determination, like over summertime, how much do you want them to do? Because just like I just said, you want her to rest. Because she's still a student. This is,
Yeah.
middle
First.
school is a transition in itself. So it's really just making sure that she's not burnt out and tired by the end of the year and wants to go back and do all of these things when the next year starts.
I'm gonna tell you right
Absolutely.
now, the travel ball in the summertime when Jalen did AAU, Lord have mercy.
And AAU track is the same way.
The
Yeah.
same. Whew.
I mean, I'm like, oh my. But I think at least basketball, we're inside in the air conditioning as opposed to outside all
Yeah,
day.
that was the great thing about Kiki and volleyball. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, I'll do this all day.
all day.
Right.
I can watch volleyball
Right.
all day too. But at
I'll be
least
here
you're
in this
inside.
gym
Yes.
with my little chair, and yes,
Right.
all day.
Right.
Oh my God,
Right.
that's so good. So I want to talk about what if there was something that you could go back and do differently from y'all's career. Is there anything, or just everything? Just God just lined it all up the way it was supposed to.
For me, I feel like God lined it up like he was supposed to. I mean, I had some injuries that I wish, but who's to say,
Right.
now with technology and training being so different than we, I mean, like, and we like to say we paved the way for the kids because we didn't have a locker room. We didn't have a weight room. We were in the dungeon, lifting weights, and the athletes before us taught us how to lift. We didn't have a strength coach.
Mm,
So it's like, now if I could go back and change that, I would, but that it was just a part of the time.
right.
But everything else, I think, God designed it the way it was supposed to go.
I had probably a different role than what most people see. I, coming all the way from Ohio all the way down to Louisiana, lost my mind. Got down to school, was having way too much fun, was way too popular, and I had to sit out a semester because my grades weren't where they were supposed to be. So and it was a shock. For me, it was a shock because I came in from not knowing how to lift weights, not knowing all those things. And when you step on the track coming from your state where you're the smokingest thing coming out, till you step in on a day of block starts and you got an Olympian on your right, you got an NCAA champion on your left, you got another NCAA champion on they left.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different.
It's a wake up call.
It's a lot different. And so it took me some time to get into the flow of things, academically and athletically. I'm sure if you talk to Pat will tell you the very same story. Is like where she ended up is not where she started. So, but again, I wouldn't change most of it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't change most of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was, and see, that was me. I totally missed out on the whole process because I tore my ACL in high school when they weren't diagnosing ACL injuries like they are now, and so they never diagnosed it as an ACL. And it wasn't until I was in Germany and I actually had a black female orthopedic doctor that was in the military to diagnose me. Because I think some, of course, that could be a whole nother topic that we could talk about later on. Is just how us as Black women aren't how our healthcare isn't up to par with everybody else because they
Right.
I don't know what that mindset is. Like that's a whole totally topic, right? And so
Right.
that
Yes.
kind of wholly totally hindered any type of college career that I could have had as far as playing basketball or running track. I was, I wasn't like y'all, but I would definitely was, top in the state in track and I was all state in basketball, but because of the injury early in my high school years, I just didn't have the confidence to go, but I also didn't have the support of anybody, coaches or anything to help promote me to the next level. Of course, now you got social media. You didn't have none of the internet, of course, none of that was around when we were coming up. But the kids
Which
these
is
days,
probably a good thing.
Yeah.
what you
Yeah. It
say?
is.
It's
Yeah.
not
Oh yeah.
always a good
Definitely.
thing. Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
not always
Always.
a good thing. Yes, absolutely. And so now you have to teach. Now you have to coach kids if you're coaching kids nowadays about what you post on social media.
Yeah.
Uh, be careful about what you say and what you retweet or what you repost or because it could hinder you. I've seen kids that have gotten scholarships pulled because of something that they posted. And even
Hmm.
nowadays, what a lot of people don't know, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this is, um, as a coach, you're recruiting the whole family, right? So as parents need to be careful about the ratchetness that they post on their page.
That's true.
Have,
That's
and
true.
I don't think that that's something that a lot of parents and so that's why I'm bringing it up here because my audience is a lot of sports families and stuff that I want to help them to with the recruiting process. And you got to be careful as parents what you're posting because college coaches are looking at the whole family and they're recruiting the whole family and they got to be careful on they're trying to keep their jobs and so
And
they
they
got
want to know, and they also want to know what support they have at home.
yes.
So if they're recruiting your son or your daughter and there's issues that arise, they want to know that, the support at home is, we're all on the same page. We all have what's best in the child's interest at heart. And so I think that's a major issue as to why coaches go to, the family social media pages to see what's really going on.
True. That's true.
Absolutely. Okay, so what what didn't you know early that you wish you'd have known early?
Take advantage of every opportunity that is given to you on that campus. Your athletic career is not for always and forever. And at some point, you're going to need to know how to write a resume. You're going to need to know
Uh,
how to do interviews for a job. And all of those things are available to you on your campus. Now, do you take advantage of those is a completely different issue. For everything that we had available to us, and by no stretch of the imagination is it close to what they have now. But
right.
we had a lot of resources that I don't think we took complete advantage of. And I know out of our group, we say it all the time, like we never had anybody look over a resume. We probably didn't even have a resume coming out of college because, we were all going to run track for forever.
Right.
And so that is one of the things that you take advantage of everything they've got for you. Every meeting, every town hall where they're discussing different issues. It's time for networking, things of that nature that kids don't take advantage of because they're going pro. And we know the numbers that are not going pro. So do not waste those opportunities that you have on your campus.
That's true. I will also say, don't sign up for those credit cards
Mm.
Yes.
because they don't teach,
And
and
no.
I know, from my family didn't teach financial literacy because I didn't come from a well-to-do family.
Right.
So I get on campus and sign up for this credit card, you'll get a t-shirt. Sign up for this credit card, you'll get a candy bar. So, I have 5, 6 credit cards.
With
And
no
nobody
job.
told me that after I spent all this money, I got to pay it back.
Right.
So I had a full ride, so I didn't have to pay for my college, but I got out of college and had so much credit card debt.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yep.
And how would you pay him? Were you able to pay him? So did it damage your credit early on because of?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It damaged my credit early on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, luckily, I learned from that and I crawled my way back up.
Mm-hmm.
But those are those things that nobody ever tells you.
Oh, absolutely. And I think in the Black community, I think the level
Exactly.
of
Yes.
Financial literacy, we definitely do, because I got caught up in that same exact thing because I saw my mom using credit cards, right? And so you just don't know any better.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're definitely not taught that. Does LSU have like an alumni association that allows you all to still like network or like connect or help you with other resources even now, even though you've been gone for a while? Have they created
Oh,
anything like
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We as well for athletes, we have something called the L Club, the Letterman's Club. So if you lettered in the sport,
that?
then you're a part of this. And they have different events and things that we're able to attend. Of course, we have the Black Alumni Association and the regular um, LSU Alumni Association that they have different events and they'll monthly. I don't know if you get this, Dee Dee, but monthly I get the publication, the LSU publication, and it tells you the different LSU alumni associations and in different states. So if you live here, there may be an association here and that way. So it's a great way to continue to network with everybody.
Yeah, and they do list all the associations in different cities. Right now, I'm in Texas, and in San Antonio, there's an LSU club. They meet for Saturdays during football season, and so there's always ways of us keeping in touch with each other. Social media has helped out greatly.
Yes.
We're able to kind of in real time keep up with not just people in our track and field world, but the basketball players and football players and baseball, that everyone who came through our time, because you're able to locate them, and it's a great way for us to just keep up with everybody and what's going on in their lives.
Yes.
Okay, so I got to tell the story.
Oh no.
So Dee Dee, I was catching up with April earlier, and I was telling her that I was coaching football, and she was like, "You're actually coaching football?" Yes. So I've been coaching football for 4 years. That's how we came up with the Hits and Heels with the name of my podcast. So I've been coaching football for 4 years. But right before COVID hit, I went to my first football clinic, and it was right after LSU had won the championship, and Coach Algeron was one of the guests.
Uh-oh.
Listen, that is my dog. Can I tell you? So I'm the only female at this clinic in Louisville. The only female. There's probably, I don't know, at least 500 men there, and I was the only female at the clinic. So he's up there talking or whatever, and I'm just sitting there looking. I mean, I'm like captivated, right, with him because he had just come up off the championship. his accent is just, I actually can understand it, because at first I thought I wouldn't be able to understand it, but I love to hear him talk. So and so as soon as it was over, I got up because I wanted to go, get a picture with him. Joker parted the Red Sea and met me at off the stage, coming off the stage, and was like, "I'm so glad that you were here." Like, he was one of the few coaches that was there that made me feel welcome, that I was the only female there at a football clinic. So I definitely got to get a shout out to Coach Orgeron for that. Yeah.
He for all the other things, he was great for football. He was great for college football during that 4 year spent when
Mhm.
he came in, he took over, he built up that program. They won the national championship. He is so Louisiana.
Yes.
He's up and down,
So
forwards or backwards, night or day. That's who he is, and unapologetically who he is. And so we're excited to have Coach Kelly there, but there's a level, like, he good with us. He always gonna get an invite to the
Always
barbecue.
will.
yes,
Always.
That's
Yeah,
good. That's
always.
good. That's good to hear, because I'm telling you, I mean, I sent an email to him. He was like, "Look, if you want my whole program, LSU program, send me an email." I emailed him. Whoever his on his staff or whatever sent it right out. So I have like their whole, like, if you want to start a whole football program, he sent me LSU's whole program on
wow,
PowerPoint. And I was
wow,
just taken aback from that, because he was like,
It's not new information,
it's
and
not
that's
new information.
it's
Yeah,
not
it's
new
not new information. Whoever
information.
wants it out,
yeah,
I'll let you have it. You just go
Yeah,
copy it, copy whatever you need out of it.
because
What?
that only helps him.
Yes,
Developing high school programs only helps him be able to recruit recruitable kids. So
that's true.
it has always amazed. The one thing about track, when I first started at the college level, I remember this. Coach Fry at South Carolina, and this is when he first got to South Carolina. He still holds a coaching clinic, like early on, like October, November. And the first couple of days, he invites all the young Black coaches, and we have a round table. And so
oh,
you're sitting at the round table with Mike Holloway,
woo,
Curtis Fry, Bev Kearney. This was when Carol was just coming up. And you're sitting at the table with all of these people. And I remember this because I got up and I said, "You know what?" I said, "I have questions." I said, "But as a young coach, if I feel intimidated by asking you guys questions, and because I don't want to seem like I don't know what I'm doing or that that's a stupid question." And I remember Mike Holloway, and this is remains why he's my brother to this day. He got up and he dug in his pocket and he gave me his business card right there. He said, "There is never a question that you can call and ask any of us. We
wow,
will always answer. And here is my card. If there's something you need, you call." And I, like, it brought me to tears because I was like,
yeah,
is he serious?
right,
Is he for real? But that is legitimately how we build our sports. Is you
Yeah,
can't be stingy with the information,
yes,
because
exactly.
we've got to share this information, because there's somebody out there that felt that exact same way, that didn't know they had an ally. All they had to do was open their mouth and ask.
right,
And
and
and coaches need to know that.
yes,
Yeah,
but there's also that stigmatism of, we still have a glass ceiling for Black coaches
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
absolutely,
Oh,
in all
definitely.
sports,
Oh, definitely.
right?
absolutely.
And I think track and field. I think I probably see more Black coaches in track, of course, in track and field, than I probably also see in other sports, and that doesn't get talked about enough. What do you think?
The number of head coaches over the top programs, is it's starting to come along. There was a time when, because I remember when Bev and Jeanette were the only Black female coaches that we had in the sport. when we had only a couple of head Black coaches in the SEC in our sport.
Mm-hmm.
And so those numbers have changed, and which is a great thing. Um, so then our next move is, the number of African American female coaches over top 5 programs. What does that look like? How do we get that there? And we have some young, exciting coaches out there right now that are making moves. I mean, Carol is knocking it out the park at Georgia. AT is doing big things up at Vanderbilt. I mean, so there are some females out there doing big things, but even from the time when I started coming through, it's just a different world for us. That we can't play by those same rules. It's not the same rules. And
But that's
so you have to be in different circles to make the needle move.
okay. I think one of the things that I love about why I respect Dawn Staley so much. Did you all see where when after she won her championship, where she sent a piece of her of the net to all the Black female coaches?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
You
She
know, and
understands. She understands. She
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
understands that to
yes,
come through, if I'm coming through, I can't come through this door by myself. So
Right.
they have to be able to see them in me for us to move this needle. It can't just be Gino. It can't just be the males, the white males in the sport coaching our Black females. And so for
Right.
her to understand that, the
yes.
bigger picture of what she's doing, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
visionary. That's why they respect her so much,
Oh
because
my
she
God.
understands.
And she got her bag.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you don't
Right.
have. Oh, you can't come at her incorrectly. Not no more.
Right.
Not no more.
Right.
Not no more.
Right. And you're
Yeah,
not
not
going
no
to
more.
disrespect her girls either.
No.
Right,
No.
right. Oh my God. I love absolutely love the level of excellence
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
example that she has paid, even for up and coming coaches like like me that are just trying to get in the game. I have made my decision that I don't want to coach the college or the pro level or anything like that, because everybody's like, okay, Terry, you want to go to NFL? No, right? But I love coaching a women. This is my goal. I coach a women's tackle football team. And my goal is to eventually be a head coach of an all women's tackle football team. And I want an all female staff. And I want to go to a
Mhm.
championship where I'm coaching against another all women's team. And then I want all the officials to be all women, all the broadcasters to be all women. And we're going to be, and so, we play at the Hall of Fame field in our championship game in Canton. And
Oh, wow.
that's the dream,
Yeah. And
right?
yeah, and it's a possibility, because we're seeing not just females on the sideline for football, but African American females on the sidelines. We're
Yes.
seeing we're seeing officials. So
Yes.
we're seeing, and on the business side, the women that are taking over and making a stamp in that world. You have to be able to see that to see the reality of what it could be.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
So, Coach Didi, when you were at Vandy, what were your, what's the word? What were the biggest? It had to be hard. So, what were your biggest obstacles there as a head coach of a SEC
Hmm.
program, a Black female head coach in the SEC?
And weren't you the only one at that time?
Yes,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
were the only one at that time, right?
yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it.
The it was this, and if you want to say it, the stigma of Vandy. And I had the same stigma too. This was when Vandy had just decided that they weren't going to be an athletic department, and I'm throwing up air quotes. They weren't going to be an athletic department. They didn't have athletic directors, and so, and that was the story that was being told. That was the line. And so when I went on my visit, The one thing that people did not know about Vandy was that their athletic director, who was an athletic director, was an African American male who was the legal counsel for the entire campus. His senior women's administrator, who is now the athletic director, African American female. His right hand man, who was the one who I reported to, was an African American male. So the stigma of Vandy was, this is not a place that welcomes us,
Right.
which was not true. Um, and so just getting past that stigma, once you got kids on campus and they met those people that I just said, and they saw the campus, then they understood it. And it was the opportunity to get a degree from Vanderbilt University. And for many of our kids is something that they could have never imagined.
Right.
So yeah, let's do this. You're gonna give me a Vanderbilt degree?
What?
And I can take this and become a lawyer and become a doctor, and that degree stands on itself.
Absolutely.
But you had to get those kids on campus. And
Yeah.
it would be funny because I would literally run up against all the other coaches and all the other big conferences, and it's like, how they like, oh, you going to Vanderbilt? What, you going to Vanderbilt? Like, yeah,
Right.
they're yes, I'm getting them on campus, because if I get them on campus, they'll see.
It's a wrap.
It's yeah, like
Right.
you have to be able to, and we just built a new track at that point. And so it was all of these things. It was, and we messed around, and I think we won like a homecoming football, and like
Yeah.
it was like those little things that were falling into place. But you had to get kids on campus, and once we got them on campus, we made sure that we had what was necessary to surround them to be successful. They had those opportunities just like you would have in any other school, but it's a smaller school. The class sizes are smaller, but again, you're walking away with a
Degree from
Vanderbilt education that
the
is
Vanderbilt
yeah,
University.
it's something to behold.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so probably the biggest thing was just the stigma of what people thought Vandy was at
Mhm.
that time.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, because like even now, if my son was pursuing baseball, we were hoping Vandy would have offered,
Oh
because
yeah,
it is the number
yeah,
one baseball program in the nation.
consistently they've done well over the last 10 years,
Mhm.
and it was what LSU was in the 90s. And he's figured out how to get those kids in, and they thrive in that system.
Mhm. Good stuff. Oh my God. We're about to wrap it up. We about to wrap it up. Listen, I just can't thank y'all both enough for just coming on at the last minute, at 9 o'clock at night time, 8 o'clock y'all's time, and just chatting about just your experiences. I have an Olympian. Can you tell us about your Olympic experience, Coach? Tell everybody what you did in the
I
Olympics.
ain't even supposed to be here. Y'all know
I know you're not supposed to be here, but go on and tell us anyway, because you're
that? I'm
here
supposed to be
and
You
here.
you
were
get ready to
supposed to
wrap
be
it up.
here.
Because
You
No, I
were
wasn't
supposed to
April.
be
No, I
here.
wasn't
Yes, you
April.
were.
like
No, I
when
wasn't.
Yes, you
people
were.
listen
Because,
to
God makes ways that we don't
yes,
think. And,
Girl,
see.
if you don't stop, you know, when I see you next
my
week,
daughter
if
was like,
you
"We
don't
want the
stop.
tea." My daughter Jalen came on here like, "We want the tea." Danny was like, I love. She, talked about how she loved how y'all allow y'all kids to explore and have a diverse upbringing. Which is definitely well rounded. But so again, even Jay said we want the tea. And the reason for that, Coach, is just that just the credibility of of who people are talking to. And
Mhm.
Coach April, if there's like a comment on there, please let people know how to get your virtual personal training. So
Yes,
so please
yes.
you can if you can post. I don't know if you could post that, or if Jalen
Okay.
can you if you're still watching, can you post coach's stuff on in the comments or something, so people can reach you and reach out to you guys if y'all need a personal trainer virtually. T- this the girl. I'm just telling you.
Yes.
I don't,
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
just saying the girl. So Coach Hill, I lost her. She went off. So I guess we lost Coach.
Oh no.
I hope she logs back on because I gotta hear about her being an Olympian. There she is. She's back.
Yes.
She's back. Okay. So let me add her back to all right, Coach. We added you back to the stream. Are you
Okay. Yep. I'm
there?
here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry.
Okay, good.
I'm here.
So tell us about you being Olympian, ma'am, please.
Um, it was surreal. Um, we had everything kind of fell into place, like April says, when the Lord had kind of placed my steps. It just happened to be my senior year was 96. So we had trained, we trained for the postseason, and I'd had a great season. I had went undefeated in the 100 that year, and we won our 10th national championship. So that was just a huge feat in itself.
Unbelievable.
And went to the trials, um, behind behind Gail Devers and Gwen Torrance,
Woo!
um, and finished third. Um, and leading up to that, like I PR'd in 100 meters at NCAAs and went 11 flat at that time, which was my PR. And then the first round of the Olympic trials, I went 1099. The second round, I went like 1097.
Woo.
The third round, I was like 1094.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1094. And then for finals, I think it was like a Friday night in Olympic Stadium, sold out, uh, finished third behind Gail. Gwen finished first, Gail finished second, and made the team. And just absolutely surreal. It was kind of insane. I had said it was funny. I said to my boyfriend earlier in the year, I said, I'm gonna make the Olympic team just out of the blue. Like we were just wasn't even talking about that. And I said, I'm gonna make the Olympic team. And he looked at me, he's like, oh, okay.
What?
Like where that come from, but okay. And so then when it happened, he kind of just looked at me and was like, you a bad chick, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny, and when I tell this story is we went through the whole process. Didn't make it to the semifinals. Had been a long season for any collegian who makes the Olympic team, coming off of a collegiate season. It's just a long
I
season.
bet.
And so we had the whole relay pool shenanigans, and that's a whole nother conversation. And months later, like we're saying, like maybe August sometime, I'm sitting with my family, and I'm sitting we're having pizza partying, and I looked at my mom and said, I made the Olympic team. And she looked at me, she's like, yeah. I said, I didn't appreciate it. That's what, stuff is
Really?
wasted on young folk.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't register to me until that moment, like everything that happened, because you're going, like, it's okay, we got this meeting, we got to get fitted for this stuff, you're on this TV show, you're doing this interview. So you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like living moment to moment. And so I never had time to really sit back and just take that in.
Oh wow.
It was months
Mm-hmm.
later before I let it kind of like take over me. And I was like, wow, and had my own moment. But it was a great opportunity. It was here in the States. It was in Atlanta, so my family was able to come. Um, and it was wild. It was absolutely wild. One of the best experiences. I like I said, LSU owes me nothing, absolutely nothing. To have gotten me to that point, it was truly a blessing.
I mean, but being an Olympian is something that most people could never add to their resume.
And
Hmm.
it's again one of those things, wasted on youth.
Mhm.
You wasted on youth. Like you just think like, okay, I'll be back.
Right,
I'll be back in 4 years. This ain't nothing, until you're not.
right.
Yeah.
Until you're not, and then that's when you really sit back. And I think that's why we feel so deeply for passing on words of wisdom to like the younger
Mhm.
kids that come up to take complete and full advantage, because there are many of us that never ever made it back. So
Yeah.
you need to take this take entire advantage of this.
So was it hard? Do do you remember the last day when it kicked in that this is the last time I'm getting ready to put on a pair of spikes?
Yeah, and I was okay with it. Like,
Good.
like
Mm-hmm.
I had, like you said, you've accomplished so much
Mm-hmm.
that it was like, I want to be a normal person. Like, I want to have like normal
Mm-hmm.
life. And so when I hung up my spikes, like there was no regret. It was like, oh, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm good with my life.
Good.
I'm good where it has led, and I'm okay with it not being, 10 years doing track and, traveling the world. People are like, are you out of your mind? But again, you just don't know the involvement that these athletes are putting in and the time, and what they're giving up to do those things. And so I can understand when Allison says, I'm ready to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
It's other stuff to my life. There's other chapters that
Right.
I want to read. And so now it's time for me to move on.
Yeah.
If you put your body through that for that long at that level, you're good. You when you decided to give it up, you're okay with that. You're okay.
But when you have the children, I think I think that's when you just like, oh my God, because they become your world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like
And so
I
anything else that has anything to do with you, you like it doesn't even matter. It's just all about these kids at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's you've had your moment. Now we've moved on to the next moment. And
Right.
and and,
Right.
and
And then
family
you
and
get to see how
kids
they
are all
flourish.
things that we now you can do all of those things. But back then we're talking before Allison brought awareness to what female athletes have to go
Go
through,
through.
what
Yes.
Serena brought to what
Yes.
female athletes have to go through. And the reality of we at one point it wasn't this and it was this or.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
You had
so
to choose.
Mm-hmm.
it's so awesome to see them to be able to have this and.
Yeah, I think, you know, Candace Parker, Lisa Leslie, even now Tyler Diggins. I mean, there's so many of them that have had kids and they're still in their career.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I love seeing it.
Mhm. Because we did not see it.
Yes,
That was
yes.
Right.
not an opportunity
If
for
you
us
absolutely,
Right.
coming up through the ranks. You just didn't do both. You couldn't have
you
both
couldn't do both. Yeah, you had to choose
because that's what we
between
were
that.
told. I should say
Mhm.
it wasn't what we couldn't. That's what we were told.
Told that you couldn't do both. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm gonna wrap it up. I appreciate y'all so much. I love you both. I respect you both. Both of you two are definitely two of the most favorite people that I know in this world. Even my daughter, me and Jalen was talking about that. She was like, "Oh my God, Coach April is one of my favorite people." I said, "Yes, absolutely. You guys are such amazing role models and examples for Black women. It's not even funny. I'm probably going to promote this one way more than probably I've promoted some of the other ones. And I've had some great guests coming on. Not to diminish any of them that they've um, done to come on for me, but this one, oh my God, this one was good. I appreciate you so much more than you guys ever know. So, guys, I have Coach April's contact information on. It looks like April at I don't have my
Citizenlifestyleinc.com.
thank you, Coach, because I still don't didn't grab my glasses and pick them up because I'm getting old. I gotta have readers now. It's a shame, but that's a part of it. Um, my daughter Jalen, thank you for coming on. My co-host Danny Wright, thank you for uh, uh, setting us off with Hits and Heels, guys. This is Hits and Heels, season 3, episode 6. We are signing off. We appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Guys, we can I'm gonna end the broadcast, but if you guys want to stay on and chat a bit, you can. You don't have to log right off, but I will end the broadcast now, okay? Love y'all. Thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
Bye. You're welcome.
Bye.